Following episode describes graphic details of violence and murder. Listener discretion is advised. It's the middle of summer, Worcester, 2004. July 18th, just after 2 a.m., Andre Edmonds is shot in the chest and killed outside of the Lakeside Avenue apartment complex in Worcester's Columbus Park neighborhood near the corner of Veterans Avenue. A month later, shortly after midnight on August 19th, Sal Lopez was shot in the stomach and killed while sitting in a parked car with a friend on Hawley Street. Police believe the murders, just weeks apart, are connected. Retaliating and violent measures taken by two rival gangs in Worcester. Nearly 20 years later, a pair of murders remain unsolved.
Unsolved Worcester is brought to you by the following sponsors. Follow the crowd through the doors of Donut Homies and say hi to Haley Noel, the donut queen of Worcester's Canal District. Donut Homies is open inside the Worcester Public Market at 160 Green Street every Wednesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. Online ordering with delivery and pickup options is available at donuthomies.com. Follow Donut Homies on Facebook and Instagram for monthly menu drops, specials, and more. Donut Homies, everything sweeter with the homies.
Welcome back to Unsolved Worcester. I'm your host, Dan Yeager. In today's episode, we look at the unsolved murders of 22-year-old Andre Edmonds and 24-year-old Salorin Sal Lopez in the summer of 2004. Police believe Andre and Sal were affiliated with two city gangs, the Kilby Street Posse and the God Bodies. Their shooting deaths are believed to be part of heightened aggression between the rival gangs that summer. Unsolved Worcester takes a deep dive every Tuesday into the unsolved murders and missing persons cases under investigation by the Worcester Police Department's Detective Unit. Our goal is to remind residents of the Worcester area, both past and present, that there are dozens of unsolved homicides and missing persons cases that need resolution. We hope we can be the spark needed to solve the case. Be sure to visit Unsolved Worcester on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and listen to all episodes for free at unsolvedworcester.com and on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. Check out the video for this episode with exclusive aerial views and more on our Unsolved Worcester YouTube page. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The summer of 2004 was a busy one for the Worcester Police Department. It was a violent stretch of gang activity in the city. 3 of the city's 11 homicides occurred in a 5-week period. All 3 were considered to be gang-related. Before the midsummer shooting deaths of Andre Edmonds and Sal Lopez, police were investigating the shooting death of 22-year-old Hector Rivera on July 15, 2004. Rivera had just dropped his friend off at the former Club Marquis on Main Street, and he was shot in the head around 11:45 p.m. while driving his friend's 2001 Toyota Camry in front of City Hall. Rivera was a 2001 graduate of Worcester Technical High School. He was a father to a 3-year-old boy. When he died, he also left his parents, sister, grandmother, and girlfriend. Rivera is buried at Notre Dame Cemetery in Worcester. 2005, 3 men were arrested and charged with Rivera's slaying. To highlight the mayhem and gang warfare in downtown Worcester that summer, the night after Rivera was killed, Friday, July 16th, a vigil was held on Main Street in his memory. As family and friends gathered to pay their respects, 2 men drove by the vigil, and one of them pointed a gun at the crowd. They were later arrested. 2 days later, 22-year-old Andre Edmonds would be gunned down in a drive-by at Lakeside Apartments. Around 2 a.m. on July 18, 2004, several gunshots were fired outside of the Lakeside apartment complex on Lovell Street. 2 bullets struck a black Dodge Durango. 2 others shot out the rear windshield of a black Volkswagen Passat. 1 bullet struck 22-year-old Andre Edmonds in the chest. Police told the Telegram and Gazette that a 9mm bullet was found lodged in Andre's spine. The bullet went straight through vital organs. Before Andre made it to the hospital, the first police officer to respond to the scene saw 2 men trying to get Andre into the back of the Dodge Durango, likely to rush him to the hospital. Police called for an ambulance, and at 3:10 a.m., Andre Edmonds was pronounced dead. Andre lived on Delawanda Drive. He was the father of 2 children. When he died, he left his mother, father, a fiancé, and 7 brothers. Andre graduated from Worcester Technical High School in 2001. According to police, Andre was associated with the Kilby Street Posse, one of the larger gangs in the city at the time. Like we've seen a few times already on Unsolved Worcester, Andre's death may have been in retaliation to a fight that occurred at a Worcester nightclub just hours before he was shot and killed. According to reports, Andre and his friends were at Club Marquee on Main Street in Worcester on Saturday night, July 17th. The same club Hector Rivera dropped his friend off just a few nights before. Just before the bar closed at 1 a.m., an argument between Andre, his friends, and another group led to a brawl that spilled onto Main Street. It's during this fight outside of Club Marquee where 2 of our murder cases are connected. The fight put 24-year-old Salorin, Sal Lopez, in the hospital with severe stab wounds. An hour later, shots were fired outside of 10 Lakeside Avenue, with a single bullet striking Andre Edmonds in the chest and killing him. Coming up is the investigation into who shot Andre Edmonds is underway. Sal Lopez is shot and killed while sitting in a car on Hawley Street. August 19th, 2004, around 12:30 a.m., 24-year-old Sal Lopez is sitting in his parked black Volvo with a 24-year-old woman outside of the Church of Bethsaida on Hawley Street. Just a month before, Sal had been violently and repeatedly stabbed during a fight outside of Club Marquee on Main Street in Worcester. He had spent several days in the hospital recovering. Weeks later, while sitting in his vehicle in front of 17 Hawley Street, a dark-colored Nissan Maxima pulled up next to Sal's Volvo. Several shots were fired from the Maxima into Sal's Volvo. A bullet grazed the head of the female passenger in Sal's car. A second bullet struck Sal in the abdomen. In the hysteria, Sal tried driving away. He made it about a tenth of a mile before his vehicle crossed Pleasant Street and crashed into the wrought iron fence outside of Pleasant Street Towers at 275 Pleasant Street. Less than an hour later, at 1:15 a.m., Sal Lopez was pronounced dead at the St. Vincent Hospital. When Sal died, he left his young daughter, his parents, 2 brothers, 3 sisters, and his grandmothers. He's buried in Oak Ridge Cemetery in Southbridge. Sal graduated from Doherty Memorial High School in 1999. After high school, he attended Rob Roy Hair Design and worked as a barber. He had his own chair at All Star Styling on Main Street, where he worked for 10 years. He was described as helpful, good-natured, and a welcoming member of the community. But like Andre Edmonds, Sal Lopez had ties to a local gang, the God Bodies. While they were initially hesitant to connect the murder of Andre and Sal, police would come to believe their deaths were retaliatory measures that started with the fight outside the Club Marquee in July 2004 and ended with Sal's shooting death the following month. By early 2005, Sal Lopez was being considered as a suspect in connection with the shooting death of Andre Edmonds. Coming up, police investigate the shootings, and the city of Worcester is on edge as gang violence escalates in the summer of 2004. Of the 11 homicides in Worcester in 2004, the shooting deaths of Sal Lopez and Andre Edmonds are the only 2 murders from that year that are listed on Worcester Police Department's Unsolved Homicide Cases list. The gang-related shootings of Sal, Andre, and Hector Rivera in the summer of 2004 pushed the WPD to create the Anti-Violence Street Crime Unit in late August. The unit worked as part of the department's Community Impact Unit, which still exists today. Within 4 months, the unit made nearly 150 drug and violent crime arrests and recovered several illegal firearms. In the fall of 2004, the unit was heavily focused on the murders of Andre and Sal, with detectives assigned to each case. According to 2004 court records, Sal's brother Omar Lopez was named as a suspect in connection with Andre's death. A November 2004 report in the Telegram and Gazette stated a state police detective said Sal's brother Omar was preparing for a gang war between the God Bodies and the Kilby Street gangs as a result of his brother's death. By 2006, pieces of the Edmonds and Lopez murder cases started coming into place, but discovering who pulled the trigger in each death evaded detectives. Here's what we do know. On July 17, 2004, outside of Club Marquee on Main Street, an argument between rival city gangs erupted into a large fight that involved Andre Edmonds and Sal Lopez. According to police, Andre is believed to have started the fight, smashing a beer bottle over Sal Lopez and slashing him in the face with broken glass. Sal ultimately ended up in the hospital for several days. 2 hours later, in an act of gang retaliation, Andre was shot and killed outside of the Lakeside apartment complex. There's a belief that Omar and Sal followed Andre to the Lakeside apartment complex. One of the brothers shot and killed him, and then Sal was taken to the hospital for his stab wounds. In August 2004, 1 month later, Sal was shot in the abdomen sitting in his car on Hawley Street. Nearly 20 years later, no one has ever been charged in the shooting deaths of Andre Edmonds or Sal Lopez. Their murders remain unsolved. Thank you for listening. I'm Dan Yeager. Don't miss another episode. Click the notification button to get alerts when new episodes of Unsolved Worcester drop. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, please consider clicking the like button for us. If you subscribe, the next episodes will show up in your feed. Click the bell on the right and select all, and you'll get a notification of when the next episode is ready. If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, please leave them in the comments below. We do read them all and respond to as many as we can. Anyone with information about who killed Andre Edmonds or Sal Lopez are asked to contact the Worcester Police Detective Bureau at 508-799-8651 or send an anonymous text at 274-637. Write TIPWPD plus your message, or send an anonymous web-based message at worcesterma.gov/police. Come back on August 15th for Episode 9 of Unsolved Worcester Season 5 and Part 1 of our two-part special on the Maine South Woodsman, an alleged serial killer that stalked and hunted young women in the Worcester, Maine South neighborhood. Part 1 will share the background on the woodsman's many victims, and Part 2 shines the light on a suspect. Special thanks to the Worcester Public Library, the Worcester Police Department, the City of Worcester, and our sponsors for making this possible. Information on the murders of Andre Edmonds and Sal Lopez was gathered from multiple resources, including the Telegram and Gazette, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts court system, and more. The Unsolved Worcester podcast music is provided by Tom Lebelzik of the Worcester Jazz Collective. This episode is written and produced by Pat Sargent. Drone footage provided by Ron Scott at Chasing Daylight Studio. Videography and editing by Colin Turner. Sponsorship information announcer Chandler Walsh. This program is supported in part by a grant from the Worcester Arts Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. To find out more about how National Endowment for the Arts grants impact individuals and communities, visit www.arts.gov.